Most beautiful book you bought this year. I haven't bought a single book because I'm broke. If you guys hear birds squawking, just imagine that you're Elena Gilbert. Anyway, hey everyone, it is June 21st. I'm late. I'm just gonna try to film this, edit it, and whip it out as quick as possible. Actually, I think if all goes to plan, this video should be coming out on my birthday. So, happy birthday to me. I will be 22. So this video is obviously the mid-year freakout book tag. It's like a check-in about like all the books you've read so far. Okay, I'm gonna Google the questions because I low-key haven't looked at them since last year. So far, I've read 48 books. I'm gonna close my window. The best book you've read so far in 2023. Does anyone actually answer just one book for this question? There's no way. I have so many books, I feel like. Saint by Adrian Young. This is the prequel book to the Fable duology. I originally read Fable and Namesake because I just wanted to read Saint. I was in the bookstore and I saw this book and it first of all jump scared me. Then I was like, oh, who is that? It's like an origin story for her father. It like tells like this very tragic love story that's also the best piece of literature I've ever read in my life. Ever. It was so good. Earth-shattering, death-defying, most deepest love on the entire planet was this book. Of course, all of the All for the Game books, The Foxhole Court, The Raven King, and The King's Men. I've been inducted into the cult for this book series. I drank the Kool-Aid. People who read this book series and love it don't love it to a normal degree. It's like an independently published book series by Nora Sakovic. She just wrote this book series and then dropped off the face of the planet. It's like found family with like this sports team. Then also they're running away from the mafia. Well, one of them, Neil Jocelyn, the main character, he's like a teenage runaway. The most trauma you'll ever see in a book ever. It was so painful to read at times. If anyone says anything about these characters, I will literally block you. And the best slow burn romance, like the kind of romance that you don't even know is a romance until it just happens and you're like, what? And then you're like, wait, I'm obsessed. And then Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I love this book. Oh my gosh, the hype for it. I get it. It's a romance between two doctors that work in the ER. The guy in it, Jacob, I think every person on this planet wants to marry Jacob Maddox. It's game over. I should have known. I think the anxiety rep and mental health therapy rep in this book was like the best that I've ever seen it. Okay, speaking of mental health, so you guys know that I'm a big advocate for talking about mental health, therapy. This past year especially was a big year for me in my journey with mental health. It's something that I've struggled with for the past couple of years, but this past year was really when I started getting help for it and I first started receiving therapy. I seriously don't know what I would have done or how I would have survived without getting professional help. And I remember when I first decided to get help, how scary it was and just how much friction there can be. But seriously, I think that everyone would benefit from therapy. So I want to give a huge thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service and it's all 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 therapists who are licensed and can help you work through a variety of issues. It's simple. All you have to do to get started is just answer a couple of questions, a little questionnaire about your needs and preferences in therapy, and then that way BetterHelp can help match you to the best therapist that will help your unique needs. And then you can talk to your therapist whenever through text message, video call, phone call, and you can schedule live sessions for whenever it's convenient for you. And if your therapist isn't right for you for whatever reason, yes, it is important. Find the one who's the best fit for you. BetterHelp, you can switch to new therapists without any additional charges. And with BetterHelp, you can expect the same professionalism and quality you can expect from like going into office, like in-person therapy. But this therapist is custom fit for you. There's a lot more scheduling flexibility and it's a much more affordable price because we all know it can break the bank. You can actually get 10% off of your first month with BetterHelp if you go to betterhelp.com/sunnykim. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P. I've also linked them below in the description, so thank you again BetterHelp for sponsoring. Okay, let's get back to the video. Oh no, there's so many books. No, there's so many other amazing books that I read, but I'm gonna see if they can actually come up in the other questions. So question 2 is the best sequel you've read so far in 2023. Probably Addicted After All. This is the fifth book. This is the Addicted Calorie Sisters universe by Krista Becker-Ritchie. You guys know. I already know you know. However, Addicted After All really took me by surprise. I rated it at 5 stars. Normally, I don't really care that much about Lily and Lo. I'm sorry. I know, tomato. We get the introduction of Willow and Garrison in this book. Their meet cute and like the start of the Bad Reputation duet, which is like their own duology. And they're probably like one of my favorite couples of all time. Actually, add Bad Reputation duet to like my favorite book, as if the roster's not long enough. A new release I haven't read yet, but want to. Ooh, Ooh, let me look at my want to read. Everyone comment down below how many books are on your Goodreads want to read list, and let's see which one of us is the biggest perpetrator. Mine is 611. I'm really bad at keeping up with new releases. I'm really bad at it. I'm quite bad at it. Happy Place by Emily Henry. I'm actually undecided of whether or not I want to read this book because I would love to say that I have read all of Emily Henry's books, and this is the one that's left. However, I don't like the trope in it, which is like marriage in peril. I do not like that trope because I don't like second chance anything. However, I have heard good things about everything else about this book besides the romance. I think it takes place at a summer beach house or something, and I literally live by the beach and it's summertime. So most anticipated release for the second half of 2023. Okay, yeah, this one is coming out September 26th, which is Foul Heart Huntsman. This is the second book in the Foul Lady Fortune series by Chloe Gong, and Foul Lady Fortune is one of my favorite books ever. Oh my gosh, I have not stopped thinking about that book ever since I've read it, and I read it a long time ago. It's coming out in September. They always come out during that time. Don't they know that I'm gonna be in school during that time? Like, don't they know I'm gonna be starting grad school? I'm gonna be crying and throwing up. Oh, actually, her novella series that came out, Last Violent Call, I guess that's one that is new release and I haven't read yet. Wait, actually, while we're on that topic, it was coming out in July 25th. I have an arc of it, which is Immortal Longings, also by Chloe Gong. This is the start of her new adult series. I think it's like Hunger Games-ish competition. I love a competition. Inspired by Shakespeare, Antony, and Cleopatra. Don't know anything about that. I barely know anything about Romeo and Juliet because everyone in my class read it except for me because I switched schools and then switched back. I need to read this book. I actually did start it one time, but I need to commit. Actually, yeah. I was thinking if there was a new Cassandra Clare book coming out. When is it coming out? Oh my gosh, please, please. October! Okay, that's this year. October 2023. Don't catfish me and keep pushing the release date. This is the start of a new series, so it's not the Shadowhunters. I love Cassandra Clare's writing, specifically the way she writes romance. I think it's really one of my favorite authors to like write romance in a way that I like it. Like the right amount of angst, not cringy, good build up, good characterization. So I really want to read this when it comes out. I literally have no idea what it's about though. Oh my god, one of them is an orphan and one of them is a prince. Oh my gosh, and the orphan is the body double for the prince. Oh my gosh, I love that trope. You can hate on the woman. I will be a ride or die for Cassandra Clare always. Next is Biggest Disappointment. Maybe The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. I mean, it's not really like a, oh, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Not like that kind of situation. It was just like not as good as better than the movies. I just don't like cheating trope. I thought the romance and the romantic interest, I liked him. However, it was on the heels of her already having a boyfriend. And so even if he was like not a good boyfriend or whatever, I'm just like, I don't like that. Maybe also Legendary, the sequel to Caraval by Stephanie Garber, just because everyone told me that the sequel was like so good and then it was like mid. Yeah, I'll say those two books. Why was everyone clickbaiting me? Okay, next one, Biggest Surprise. Definitely The Boy Who Steals Houses by C.G. Drews because I have never heard of this book ever. Never seen it anywhere ever, nothing. But then one of you guys submitted it into a question sticker I put on my Instagram story saying that like it gives Neil Jostin vibes. And so I was like, oh, let me read that. And then I read it and then it was like one of my favorite books of all time. And then I read like everything else that this author wrote. You know how much I was obsessed with this book? Let me just say that this is a PSA to the author C.G. Drews. Listen, C.G. Drews wrote this sequel but then decided not to publish it, like actually publish it, but put it on their Patreon. I was literally like, should I do it? It had that much of a chokehold on me. So C.G. Drews, if you're watching this, please tell me how I can read your book. Yeah, this book came out of nowhere. New favorite author, C.G. Drews. I think the way that it's written, it just gives me Bridget Kemmerer contemporary vibes, which if you know, you know. I love like an emotionally heavy YA contemporary with like a cute romance subplot in it. Oh my gosh, like it just hits so good. It's like so rare that I never thought I would find another Bridget Kemmerer type vibe, but then I finally did, and they're my holy grails. But then of course the authors are like nowhere to be found. Newest fictional crush? Then okay, definitely Jacob then. Dr. Jacob Maddox from Yours Truly. Yeah, period. I would actually marry that man. I can and I will. Sweet, thoughtful, knows the importance of mental health. Yeah, I just feel like he's like thoughtful in like little ways. The whole premise of this book is that he like journals and like writes letters to the girl. I just think that we were meant to be together. So Jacob, like this is my formal application to become Mrs. Maddox. Next one, newest favorite character. My newest favorite character is actually Mafi from Damaged Like Us. The Like Us series is following the addicted Calloway sisters characters' children. They're all like bodyguard romances, watching him grow up since he was a child in the Addicted series. He was the eldest, so he had like such like a strong sense of responsibility and was so mature for his age and like took such a good care of his siblings and like the other kids, like his cousins. You know the feeling? I was just like, I just want you to be okay. He's definitely the character where I'm like rooting for his happiness the most. Book that made you cry. Oh my gosh, that's like every book. Some Kind of Perfect made me cry. The final book to the Addicted Calloway sisters. It's like the epilogue novel, so of course it's gonna make me cry because it's like all of them together. One last time. Red, White, and Royal Blue made me cry by Casey McQuiston. I know that's really random because this is like a fluffy romance. Like a romance between the first son of the President of the United States and then the Prince of England, Prince Henry. However, Prince Henry's father had died like previous. Briefly in this book, they talk about Prince Henry's grief. That made me cry. I did it in my 24-hour reading challenge video. So if you want to watch me cry, you can watch that video. Book that made you happy. Yeah, better than the movie by Lynn Painter, I think. I think there's a lot of things about the main character that I could relate to. She is just like a huge Swiftie, a hopeless romantic. She loves books, movies, that kind of stuff. She makes a deal with Wes, who's like her frenemy, to like help her out, and then they end up falling in love. The guy in Better Than the Movies, Wes Bennett, also one of my favorite characters, fictional boyfriend material, period. Their romance was just one of the best that I've seen done. Favorite book to movie adaptation you've seen? Besides, duh, my annual rewatch of The Hunger Games, annual rewatch of The Maze Runner, annual rewatch of Love Rosie, annual rewatch of Flip, annual rewatch of Bridge to Terabithia, annual rewatch of Diversion. That was actually monthly. But if it's for one of the books that I've read, I don't think there's many. Oh my gosh, no! How could I forget about the best book to movie adaptation? Lockwood & Co. on Netflix. This is like the best television series I've ever seen in my life. People have actually DM'd me, have you heard that Lockwood & Co. got cancelled? I have heard, and you know what? I don't want to talk about it. I'm busy floating in a river in Egypt. I did read the first book. I think the TV show is better than the books because the reason I like the TV show is because of the romance that's in it and the chemistry between the two main characters. Why did they cancel the show? Why would they do that? I don't think I'll ever be over that. Most beautiful book you bought this year? I haven't bought a single book because I'm broke. What books do you really need to read by the end of this year? Oh my gosh, great question. I don't think there's any books that I need to read. I'm not about that energy anymore. There's so many series that I've started and haven't finished, but do I feel like I need to read them? No. I want to try reading Wolf Song by TJ Klune. I read one book by this author, The House on the Cerulean Sea. But I heard that this one has a good slow burn. I would love to read the rest of the V.E. Schwab books. Finish the Gathering of Magic series. I'm on the last one, Conjuring of Light, and also the Vicious duology. It's really all I can think of. There's not many books that I feel like I have to read. I just kind of read what I feel like. I think that's the last question. Okay, period. That was the last question. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what your favorite books were. If you guys know any like anticipated book releases coming out in the second half of the year that you think that I would like, please tell me because I'm so out of the loop that it's scary and shameful. Anyway, that's gonna be all. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. Follow me on my socials, are all linked in the description. I'll see you all in the next one. Good fortune, Toby. Sweet.